Thank you. Just want to say, normally at this time I'm thinking about going to bed. You're sort of eating into my bedtime routine. I'm going to pay for this tomorrow. I know this, and so that's my sacrifice. I feel like I'm like the least qualified person that's been on the stage. I mean, people are lecturers and people are teachers. I'm not even risen to those levels. I'll tell you my journey. So I'm not qualified in many things. So I'm just going to talk about one thing that I am, that's me. So I'm just going to talk you through my history with education. I've got to be honest, I never set out to work in education. You know, like a lot of things in my life, I kind of stumbled into it, and now I can't escape it. It's so weird. It's like this weird thing I can't escape. So, yeah. So for me, I do like the one thing I do like about working in education is that it provides a little bit of consistency in my life, because the children at school don't listen to me, and the children at home don't listen to me. It's very reassuring. Sometimes I bring in strategies from work to home. So with my boy, I was talking to him about zones of regulation. If you're in this zone, you're this, you're that. And he's like, I'm calm! I'm calm! I don't think you are. I don't want to press you because you might smash something up. So yeah, I do sometimes try and bring a bit of work into home, and a bit of, very similar actually. A lot of the children I work with are a bit like my young people, but at home. I started off with well, obviously I went to school as a child. I wouldn't say obviously, some people at home talk, but I went to school as a child. But my journey into education as an adult started mid-90s, where I was going into primary schools by an organisation as a positive black role model. And I think back then it just meant sort of like I'm black. I was black and I still am. That's consistent. I was a man, I still am a man, and I didn't have any criminal record, so I think that's where the positive came in back then. And I do remember after one school I went into, the lady sent me afterwards, she sent me some chocolates and a little note on it that said, "Thank you for giving the children hope." There's nothing I said that could have given those children. They must have had their outlook must have been very bleak if I was giving them. The chocolates were nice, so. Can't resist chocolates, they're nice, aren't they? I think my real upturn to going into education really came. I moved to London. It wasn't my choice. The other half wanted to move to London. I didn't realise you could just sort of have a discussion and sort of say, no, I don't want to do that. But that's for another theme. And because of my makeup, I just went, yeah, I'll find something to do when I'm there. And I think most people move to London, they have a plan, because it's quite an expensive city. I don't know if anyone's been to London, but like, very expensive. And if you haven't got a plan, like a job, you have to find what you're going to do. And then my mate, he says he's an actor, but he's not been in anything I've known. He's a friend, and he said, oh, some of my actor friends, they join a teaching agency, and you can become like a TA. I was like, what? You don't need to be like qualified to work with young. Apparently not. They just say, have you worked with young people? And I have, because I've been a positive black role model. and my DBS was clear, so work with children. I didn't know it was that easy. So that was my dream. With the agency, I kept saying to them on many occasions, I said to them, I don't work with really young children. So the first job they sent me on was to a nursery. Not very young children, so that didn't last very long. And I do sometimes look back a bit guiltily, because I've got two kids who've gone through nursery, and I Then I go, as a parent, you walk around a few nurseries, you organise, should we work or should we just maybe not work and look after, you've got to always choose the right nursery for, and then, some parents have done that, and then I come along and I'm looking after their kids for a day or two, so I do a little bit really on that, maybe nurseries have got a better vetting system now, so who knows, but yeah, so that sort of started that journey with the agency, and they sent me on a lot of, I've got to be honest, it was a weird time. They sent me, because I sort of ticked the box that said I would work with children with special educational needs, because I kind of felt, I'm that kind of guy. I don't mind who I'm working with, I'll go for it. So they sent me to a place where the children were, it was like severe autism, and they were very young, and I really struggled. And I rang up the agency, and I said, I couldn't really communicate, I really struggled. I mean, what can you do? And what the woman said to me, I think I'll always remember, because she sort of put up what I was saying, and she went, would you prefer to work with biters and scratchers? Not really. Is that the only things you're offering? Why have I moved to London? I don't know. So that was a bit weird. So I did a lot of these sort of roles. I'm going to do something about royal here now, because there's a theme, isn't there? And I didn't really have many, and I'm going to weave this one in. So I worked in this place where there was a big chair, which is a bit like a throne, and it was a big chair. There was a flag on it, and one of the people working there went, that chair with the flag on, don't ever sit on it. And he said, because that student, he's the only one who sits on it. And he was quite a big lad, and I thought, I get it. It's because, he's probably really possessive about that chair. So if anyone else he could probably go, bonkers. Yeah, just don't. That wasn't the reason. The reason was because, unfortunately, he would wet himself on that chair. So it was good advice. It's good advice. So that's why I never really I never sit where there's chairs and flags. And that's why I never got involved in the coronation. It stuck with me, so it stuck with me. That's my royal contribution. But then it all sort of settled down a little, because they sent me to a secondary school. I've got to be honest, I think, this is a debate, isn't there, with people who go, if I speak to any primary school teachers or anything, they go, I couldn't work in secondary school, I couldn't work, no, the children, no. I've worked in both, and I've got to say, I'm all right with the secondary, because I'd rather a kid call me a cock, than have to deal with a lot of the stuff that comes out of these young So call me whatever you want, as long as I don't have to deal with your nose and stuff. So I'm working with the secondary. But what I noticed working in secondary school is they're odd institutions, a bit like the Royals, I suppose. That could be another thing. Because, firstly, they've all got this thing where they think they're special. You've got to learn the so-and-so way. You've got, we do things differently, it's the so-and-so way. It isn't, right? You're a school. Now pick up your partner, you teach them, then they go home. Stop bigging up your, no, we do things different. You don't do things differently. I've been in other schools, you do pretty much the same sort of stuff. Stop bigging yourselves up. So that's one thing. The other thing is about school, they're obsessed about straight lines. Straight line. We're not moving on until you're in a straight line. You're in a straight line. A lot of hours are wasted in school because you're not in the line. You're not in the line. Doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't really. Other than military, where do you need to be in a straight line? Really. Ties are another thing. They go bonkers. You're not wearing your tie. You're not wearing your tie. I was thinking that today, and then who wears ties? And then my mates come in wearing ties, so. So most people, they say, oh, we work from home now, guys. We're all, doing stuff on computers. We don't need it to roll. So yeah, I don't know, my school's just obsessed about ties and equipment and protractors. Maths teachers, they're the worst. Anyway. You've not brought your equipment. It's too much equipment you're expecting these kids. They've hot violin. Most of them don't have like pens. And you've got all the, you haven't got your compass with the little pencil. And then you've got your set squares. Who uses a set square in real life? Come on. So yeah, that's what. It's in all the boxes, isn't it? When you're buying them up for the new term. Anyway, so but yeah, so over time, the kids I've worked with, they're the sort of things that you sort of stick with. And I always thought like I was more likeable until I worked with young people, because they just tell you, they don't got no filter. So I remember one kid said to me, he went, "I hate you." He sort of did it in that way. He sort of half whispered it, "I hate you." And I was a bit like, hate's a strong word, why would you hate me? And then the girl next to him went, "Some people just do." Some people? You just did a moment ago. Now you're up in a straw poll, so. And then that girl said to me, that same girl said to me, she accused me of being racist to her, and I think she was like, I think she was Portuguese, and she said, oh, you were racist. So I thought about this, and I thought about it overnight, and I thought, right, no, listen, right, I'm going to speak to her, I'm going to put this right, because I don't want her to be accusing me of being racist. In fact, it's not a good thing to have on your CV. So I'm going to nip this in the bud. So after thinking about it, it was like the next day. So I didn't nip it straight in the bud, but I thought about it, and the next day I went to say, so I need to speak to you. So, and I explained to her, I'm not racist, I believe in equality, I'm trying to treat people equally, blah, blah. And she sort of, she took it all in, and she went, all right then, if not racist, sexist. This has not gone as I'd expected. And then I worked with a lad he was a selective mute, and but it only seemed that he would choose his selectiveness when he was dealing with me. So I worked with him for a whole year, and he just basically didn't speak to me for a whole year. He would do stuff like, so if I pass over his book to him, he would go, "I'll wipe it clean," poor face and wipe it clean. And then the only time he ever spoke to me directly, we were going to a meeting with his parents, and he wouldn't come with me, and he sort of looked at me and he went, "You dirty-faced tramp." And I thought, this is progress. When I told my boss, I said, "Oh yeah, he did speak to me, he called me a dirty-faced tramp." That's good, isn't it? My boss said, "I think you've been a bit generous there." So maybe I was. But then I'm going to leave you on this. I worked a couple of years with a boy who had Down syndrome, and we ended up in like a bit of a partnership. We had weird. He would often fart in lessons, and we had many sort of conversations about strategies he could use. And I was, when you're in your work and you're thinking, how's it ended up like this? Then I realised I haven't been trained to be anything, so maybe it's not my own fault. But I remember we were in a history lesson, and he kept saying something I couldn't quite hear him. And sometimes when he wanted to speak, he would sort of stutter a little, and he was sort of speaking, and I couldn't hear, and he was sort of whispering. And then he just said to me, he was buried in Norwich, you cunt. And I had to sort of suppress a laugh, because he just said that in the class straight to me. But the amazing thing is, when he uttered those words, no stutter. It was a bit like the King's Speech, but like in a sort of weirdest school setting. Anyway, I'm off to bed. So, hope you all have a safe journey home, and thanks for